Hey guys, what's up? My name is Rocha Basnet. I'm the creator and the producer of Beyond Border, and this we just filmed the final episode of Beyond Border season one. So the TV is acting up because this is the final episode. We all are sad here along with the TV. So this is the production crew. We worked since first episode. They've been through the journey. We did 10 episodes in total, and it was a roller coaster ride. Every single week it was fun. We learned a lot. So I just want to start with everybody. Like, when I introduced the show for the first time, what was your expectation and what was different from what initially, when I explained about the show, what was the different? Who want to go first?
I'll go first. So my name is Kaylin Moran, and I'm a freshman video arts major. And when Rochuk first kind of pitched the show, he kind of proposed it as a talk show with different international students, and he kind of pitched it as an opportunity for everybody to, share their opinions on a variety of different topics. And honestly, I thought it was a really, really great idea, because I think it was very important to hear all these different voices from all these different countries to get different perspectives. And I don't think it's too dissimilar from how he pitched it during our initial meeting. It's very similar to how he first broached the topic. I think it's even gone beyond what he had expected for the first episode, and I know the first couple of episodes we have definitely improved our production. So it's already, from the final episode to the first episode, it's definitely changed. So I don't think it's too dissimilar from what I assume he had projected for our season.
Should I just close the TV because I think it's too distracting?
He's gonna turn the TV off because it's a little distracting.
It's too sad.
It's so sad. The TV is so sad, everybody.
As soon as you say turn the TV off, the song goes in my head.
Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Annalise Regab. I'm a freshman video art student. And yeah, I think, honestly, it exceeded my expectations, because I know you mentioned it, and I was a little nervous for how it was going to play out. But honestly, I think it went really well. I think the major changes were the set design. I think coming in the production TV studio room really made a huge difference. And it, more instituted the value, made it look a whole lot more professional. And honestly, I'm really happy with how the outcome came out.
Anybody else? So I'm gonna give my expectation, because I expected something different, and it came out a lot better. Because initially when I had the idea, I knew what I wanted to do. I want 4 people from different country just talking about different stuff, but I had no idea about how I'm gonna do it, what gonna be the format, how we're gonna run it, how long we should make it, because it is podcast, it is talking show, it is discussion show. I could make it an hour long. There is podcast which is 2-3 hour longs. But how I want to approach, so I went through kind of how we do here, we do other show here called SMTV News, which is 30-minute. We also have Hop City Game Day here with SM2, which is also 30-minute. We try to make a 30-minute episode. So I just thought we should just follow that for now, which was a good idea. 30-minute, I think that perfect time, not too long, not too short. And production-wise, we did amazing. We used to do an international center here at USM, and we used to carry all the equipment Thursday evening, because that was the right time. So it was a lot of hard work. We used to go there, set up everything. That's why every episode looks different, because we try to make it as close as possible. But if you look at the episode 1 through 6, you can see the difference in the color, you can see the difference in the lighting, because as with the episode, even our crew, we started learning more, because we all here are students. I think we learned how to work with the camera more, we learned how to light people and stuff. So I think it was a lot of learning thing along the way, and definitely moving into TV studio was a lot different. Again, we had no idea how we're gonna pull off here at the TV studio, but somehow we managed. I think it looked really amazing. The next thing I just want to know is, what was your favorite episode? I know all the episode is favorite, but just I want to know what was like you were really invested in, something that really stood out.
Well, I think my favorite episode is probably the episode on the food. To see all the different type, foods from different cultures. That was my favorite episode.
Yeah, outside of the one I hosted, I think that my favorite episode was probably the first one because, all the semester leading up to the first episode, you talked about you wanted to have your own show, and that was kind of the whole thing with creative. We didn't have enough creative shows. We didn't have enough original content. So I was happy to see that your first show was coming to fruition, and it was like, yeah, he got it. It's kind of that moment like, okay, he knows what he's doing.
My favorite episode was the one on working cultures. I think that it was a really, really good topic, and it was very eye-opening to hear from the three guests about their perspectives on their countries, and I think it was just a really, really good conversation to hear.
I think my favorite episode was probably the fashion one because all the guests, they had their unique clothing on, and it was just really cool to see them express their love for the country through their fashion and what they wore.
So I have actually two. When it comes to humor and fun, I think working that one with Areeb, Devakar, and Matt, I could not stop.
That was lifestyle episode.
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the three guests, those were my favorites, to be honest. That's all day, every time I pick, because it was one of those episodes that went with the flow, and there was no retakes, nothing. It was just flowing, and there was a moment where I just wanted to listen to them of how much humorous things they were talking about. And the second one would be where they talked about music and dance. That was something different for me because I love music. I appreciate any kind of music, any kind of entertainment, culture, art, and relating those from different countries of how there were similarities yet there were differences, and on and overall that was really beautiful for me.
Perfect. So for me, I would say family and relationship. Something about that episode really stood out was just the conversation thing, just seeing how Mary's was different and the way our guests tried to show the differences through their conversation really stood out. But all the episode was unique. Everything was just, I expected it, and I have even more topic, more idea to continue this show, hopefully. And what was the biggest challenge, do you think it was for you, particular working as a production crew?
Equipment.
Thursdays.
Getting the equipment over there,
Yeah.
getting it set up, breaking it down, bringing it back. Yeah, that was the part. I mean, but I understand why. You want to, put it in an environment they were comfortable with and familiar with, because that produces a better, talking space. So I understand the reasoning behind it, but I don't know. We got to get them. We got to get them a tour of the TV studio before they come on for the episode.
Sure. I think for more of a behind the scenes production standpoint, I was responsible primarily for editing the first couple of episodes, and I think just finding the general format of how we wanted the episode to come out and look finalized, it was very difficult. Spent a lot of time trying to work out how I wanted their lower thirds to look, and you and I know we went over templates for a while trying to figure out what looks best. But I think it came out really good. So I think it was just kind of getting over that initial hurdle of what do we want it to look like at the end. But I'm happy with how it came out. So
In the TV studio, the problem with the flags, positioning them right. I think that was a hard challenge, but we love set design. That was probably my favorite thing. With the lights and the flags, it was difficult, but we somehow managed, and it came out beyond what I thought it would look like. Beyond borders.
I mean, the beauty with challenges was we overcame most of them. Initially, of how we started with the first episode, we kind of looked at back, okay, this was missing, this element was missing. My biggest challenge was asking people or getting people to be on the show.
Sure.
Every event I went to, every meeting I went to, my class, my friends, I was like, hey, go to the link, sign up, please. There was a point where somebody just randomly walked into the office, and we have a lot of international students come into 205, right? And me and Rochak were debating about something, and we didn't had the guest that we wanted for, because we had a humongous population from a certain country, but not a lot of representation, right? Next 1 hour, everybody walks in. I'm like, sign up. I don't care. Sign up. You have to speak. You have to talk about country. So that was, for me, especially having people to engage with in the show or making them aware about the show, was the biggest challenge. And at this point, I think people know about Beyond Border. So even if we shoot it over here, anywhere else, I think they will be comfortable. Because initially, the whole concept of like it's a talk podcast show, people were already intimidated by that, especially international students who are all the way across and not ready to speak in a different language. I think I have a huge respect for anybody who was on the show, talked about their culture, talked about in a second or a third language, and executed the episodes perfectly with us. So kudos to that.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Because for me too, scheduling and getting people was hardest. I think I would not be able to do this so without Vivek Dai, because he so initially when I had the idea, I was like, okay, I can do this show, but I won't be able to get the people. Like I might be able to get few people who I know, but to reach to the mass audience of international, I need help from international scholar services here at USM. So I reached out to Vivek Dai, who works at ISSS, and he was like, when I pitched the idea to him, he was down, and he was like excited. We worked like we both were in Nepal during winter, and we were
communicating in Nepal
Interesting.
without, because
So
I had the idea that he was going to travel, but I did not know if he was already in Nepal, and he texted me somewhere in the afternoon in Nepal, which I was like, why is this dude up late at night in States? And then I realized, oh, he's also in Nepal. That's why he's texting me. And then I came up over here, pitched the idea with my supervisor, like, hey, we want to use the space. And the only problem was the lounge that we initially recorded it. People loved, like, we've created that space as you can just come, hang out, chill out, and it closes at 5. That was the biggest challenge. Like, anything recording that needs to be done in a sincere space needs to be done after 5, which was our biggest challenge. But I mean, when Rocha initially pitched me the idea, I was like, I am down for this. I love this thing. This is what I've like always done. I come from a media background initially, so as soon as he pitched, I was like, let's work on it. And there was one night when I think it was the title, so we brainstormed titles.
That was interesting. So we came up with a bunch of like different names, and we went back and forth, and he pitched bunch of them, I pitched bunch of them, and we just make a Google form. We sent out to people, hey, choose the name.
Like we had about 10 to 15 names, out of which we kind of shortlisted, but we were still like, okay, this is also nice, this is also nice. And Rochak was like, you know what, let's listen to the people. We created a survey. I just distributed that survey to so many people, like my close circle. I was like, hey, this is something that I'm doing. What do you think would be a applicable name? Don't tell me, answer the survey. And based on the highest responses, that's how we got.
It's really funny that you mentioned the survey, because Annalise will back me up. You sent that out in like fall, like late fall semester, and I answered it, and then I remember coming back into spring semester, and I could not find that Google form, so I thought I had imagined it, and I thought I imagined just responding it, because I talked to her and I was like, I know I filled that form out. I can't remember what I put down, but I know that thing existed, and I could not find it. And then you somehow like brought it up like later in conversation, and I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. I know I filled that thing out.
Yeah, I think the form is still there. It's probably somewhere.
I found it. It's in a group chat somewhere. I promise I'm not crazy. It exists.
It exists.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
exists.
it exists.
It's not your imagination. Okay, yeah. The hardest part was definitely getting people at first, and I could not do without ISS help. Definitely reaching out people like through newsletter, through your social media, and even after getting people, the next challenge I had was to schedule, because we need to match with production crew. We need people because we are not doing at TV studio. We're going out of our building, carrying equipment stuff. So I need to make sure my crew is available. Plus, I need to make sure the guests are available. So it was biggest challenge. So I'm thankful whoever were free, because like people, everybody were interested. I used to send out the email. At the end, they would had something. So it was the hardest thing. Schedule, like I even like used to stress out. I used to message him at the random time, be like, hey, we don't have guest. Oh, this guest backed out. Like who should I get? So it was really stressful. But I'm happy. It turned out really good. What do you guys expect more from this? So like, what can we do better through like production standpoint, through formatting, or through guest or topic, whatever?
I think the sky's the limit. I think that you're creative, you'll figure something out. You know, just when you're starting off a show like this, excuse me, it's the pilot. You know, this is the filling out process. So you've built your foundation, and I don't really know anything to say, but I'm just gonna say I trust and believe that y'all two can get something, you know, make something way different than we've seen this semester.
I kind of want to see more try it episodes per se. You know, we really went out of our comfort zone and experimented with our final episode. You know, we had our guests sit down and eat while they talked and had questions and stuff, and I think that was a really good format. And so I think seeing possible future episodes looking like that, you know, like for the music and dance one, maybe I don't know, maybe someone teaches them a dance and they all have to try their hand about doing it. Something like that, like, you know, hobbies and stuff.
Like
yeah, trying it out, you know, so that it's not just a talk show / podcast kind of thing. Because, you know, it is a little intimidating when you're going on a show like that. So I think, you know, having a little activity that everybody can bond over would kind of break the ice. So I think with this set, you know, where we have more flexibility as a production crew, we can allow them to be more flexible as guests. I think I would like to see that in the future for this show.
It's actually a great idea.
What I'd like to see is like more like photos and videos, especially like in this space. We have access to this big TV, which would be perfect for guests to like, you know, showcase, like for example, the travel. Whenever they were talking about their home countries, like I'd love to see like a visual representation of what they're talking about.
Yeah, so talking on that, like we actually had initial plan of doing photo and video stuff, but somehow like through the process it was kind of like, oh, I need more people who are gonna run the graphics. Also it was more like training the guests to speak on that topic at the right time, because it's one take. We don't want them to be like following a script, like, oh, you need to talk about this and that. So also when I ask photo to them, like they are sending copyrighted image, so which is kind of we work in the media house, so we need to be aware about like copyrighted stuff. We can't just use photo they just pull out of the Google. So it was kind of challenging in my part, like, because I don't know from where the images are coming. Like it's hard to verify every single image. So kind of like, okay, I'm gonna step back from that, I think, for now. That's why like I took it off, but I think we definitely can figure something out for next semester, because that is something would really make this so interesting, and like actually seeing stuff than just talking about it. Anything improvement.
Summer's coming. We can ask them like, hey, if you go back home, bring us some content that you might be able to share with us. That way, just a thought. While we pitch this episode, we can also ask them if they're watching it. Like, hey, if you are watching this episode and you are going back home during summer, please bring some content that we can share with you, everyone.
Okay. I think as a Beyond Border, I want to do more from this. So, because I feel like it is really hard to develop the brand. It's hard to make people aware that, okay, this is the name. Like right now we might just get few hundred views, but people know the name. Like when I go out, people like my friends, they are like, Beyond Border, I've seen that, and first thing I'll ask them is like, what do you think, like what's the feedback? Just be honest with me. If you hate something, just tell me, because I want to improve, like, because I want to do better. I want to keep on improving whatever we are doing here, because a lot of people, we work together, and getting that response like, oh, they like it, like, I didn't know you worked, what's your position, everything. I'm gonna tell you, I created the show, and they're like, okay, it looks really professional, everything, which is due to this guy, this amazing crew. So I'm thankful for everybody. Thank you for the guest. I'm thankful for ISSS, SM2 for providing opportunity, because this is my first show here. It's amazing. We did an amazing job. So next semester we are expanding it to radio. We're gonna, cause we'll have more flexibility. We don't have to do video. It's gonna be more audio-based, live radio. So we are looking into that. So definitely look out for updates on our social media. Anything final thing you wanna add before we wrap this up?
This would be more towards international students. Don't be shy. Nobody's here to judge you. Share your experience, because I've learned so many things about so many countries just because of this platform that I might have never. And plus the fact that it comes from the people who have lived that from the ground zero. That is the beauty of what I think Beyond Borders could give me the most. So yeah, please come to the show. Tell me your stories. I love to listen. So as much as you can share with us, I would love to listen that. So that's from mine.
I had something to say, but I forgot. Give me 2 seconds. Go on. It just went blank.
Okay,
Wait, it was.
Let us think. One question I want to ask off of him is, what is something you learned from the show? Like maybe from the actual episode itself or through the production, like something you learned new or something you just improved on what you already knew.
Like on YouTube and stuff, you see a lot of podcasts, and being in like production with Beyond Borders, I see like the background, everything that goes into creating a show. So this was a good opportunity. Like anybody out there who want to work on the show, this would be a great opportunity for you to learn and do more.
I think this is less about one specific episode and more about all of them. You know, we really all have a lot of similarities, no matter what country we come from, no matter how old you are, where you grew up specifically. And getting to sit behind a camera and like listen when I'm editing, there are so many things that we all do very similar, or we have the most minute differences, and it's really, really interesting to hear and see that from people, and see as a person realizes like, hey, they do it exactly the way I do it when I'm home, and it's just really, really interesting, and it's very, I guess, beautiful because even though you may be thousands of miles away from each other, it's really nice to see that we're all people, and no matter how different our countries are, it's very nice for us to all come together for this one beautiful show and get to talk about our differences and respect the differences of others. So
Again, going back off what Kaylin said, like each episode I learned something new about another country, or like if it was the same person or another person from that same country, I had to learn like a lot more than I probably would never ever learned if it wasn't because of the show. So it was a great place for people to share their differences as well as their similarities. I think one of my favorite parts was seeing the guests like bond with each other more, and like being so excited to share something from their country, and then the other person like, oh my god, you know that too. It was just so cool to see that connection that two people who've never met before and probably never would have met without the show.
So yeah, to be honest, same thing. So last thing I would definitely recommend, just going over what you said, the bond that we saw within the guests, because there was a mutual similarity that they were also not aware about. I mean, in the last episode about food, Neville brought chapati, which literally is so close to the Indian Nepali cuisine culture that I was like, it's a whole different continent, and yet there is similarity and cultural elements that kind of blend in together. So I think that was one of the most beautiful part about the show. And education, for me, this is where it changed my perception about, was if you were homeschooled, you have to be rich to be homeschooled. But no, it was all different. Greta was in the show, she talked about homeschooling, so I learned so much that I don't think so I would have if I wasn't a part of the show. So I'm really grateful, and another big thing that I learned was how many great talents we have among us. Like, I am proud of all of y'all. So yeah, I'm a little older than y'all, so I am really, really proud of you. Y'all have done a really amazing job, so kudos to that also.
Annalise, did you remember?
can't remember. Brain flat.
Yeah, I think for me too. Like, was just learning about different country, and mostly for me personally, I feel like I learned how to lead the team. It wasn't the best because it was my first time. I was trying to get talk with the guests, sending out emails and stuff. Also trying to work with production team, making sure like who are doing what, like who are working with photo, who are gonna work with audio and stuff. So it was kind of, for me, was just a learning process, how to lead the team, how to work together with people, like literally a stranger, like every guest, like half of the guests I have never met before. So meeting with a stranger and trying to bond a connection was really interesting part of this show too, and definitely learning about their culture and stuff was another plus. Again, like any final thing before we close?
Great work, guys.
Yeah,
Great work.
It's
Thank
some
you, Rochuk.
TTT.
Some TTT. Okay, guys. Yeah, thanks for watching. This is our production crew. I know it looks really rough right now. Like TV is not working because all the production crew are right here. Nobody's behind the camera. Nobody's in the studio. Everybody are right here. I know audio sounds really bad too.
Hopefully it sounds good.
That's right. Everywhere. So, yeah, great job, everybody. Thank you. It was a great experience. Thank you, everyone who watched the show, who enjoyed the show. If you have any feedback, always reach out to us through our Instagram at sm2.usm or ISSS_USM, right? Yeah. Or you can reach out to, if you find anybody's like personal account or anything, or through email, to WhatsApp, to, I don't know, through, even if you want to send a mail, feel free to. But yeah, we are open to ideas and stuff. Hopefully we'll see you next semester. Till then, bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Not all saying bye.
Wow.